Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. And I'm really excited for today's video because we are finally making some DIY projects. I finally have a craft table that I can work on again, except not all my craft supplies are actually set up. They're all still in boxes, but I will figure that out eventually. I'm just really happy that I'm able to create some projects for you guys, especially since fall is here. I'm definitely more of a summer person, but I still love fall so much, especially since it's so cozy and comfy. So I hope the new season inspires you guys to create some DIY projects for your home. All these projects were so fun and easy to create, and I'm really excited to show you guys what I made so far. So let's jump into the first project. Hello from VoiceOver Tina. So for this first project, I'm using this bag of pumpkins from IKEA, but really you can find these anywhere and they are already cute on their own, but I wanted them to be more neutral. So first thing I'm going to do is use some raffia to wrap the stem up with some hot glue. So here you can see that I'm adding in a bead of glue after I wrap it a couple times around. After gluing that down, I'm going to take this gray and brown yarn and I'm just going to wrap it starting at the top and adding in a bead of glue after wrapping it around a couple of times. When doing this, I would suggest to just keep the yarn on the spool, and this is super easy to do and you can totally use whatever yarn or rope that you already have at home. When you get to the bottom, you want to add in a lot more glue so then it doesn't unravel. And when you get to the center, make sure that you hold it down and wait until the glue dries completely before you cut off the end. I also wanted to share that if you wanted to paint your pumpkin before wrapping or customizing it in any other way, you can totally just peel off the existing paint by creating small cuts on the bottom and then just taking off the corner and peeling it off. And this way you have a perfectly blank canvas to work off of. You can even remove the stem if you wanted to paint that or customize that separately. I also tried out another simple technique to wrap my pumpkin. So with this one, I just used a 4mm macrame cord and I just started to glue it down as normal on top. And as I continued to glue it, once I got down to the vertical lines, I actually added in glue into the grooves. And then I used my finger to push the cord into it. This will give you more of that pumpkin shape as you begin to wrap it around. So I made sure to do that in every single groove. And although this takes a little bit more time than just wrapping it as normal, it really does create a subtle difference and it gives your pumpkin a lot of dimension. As for the stem, you can totally put it back on how it was or even paint it, but again, I'm just going to wrap it in the raffia to give all of the pumpkins a cohesive look. Now my neutral collection of mini pumpkins are complete. I love how cozy these look together and it is really perfect for any space. These were so inexpensive to make, but they definitely look a little bit more classy and elevated and I just love them so much. Next up, we are putting a twist on your typical fall wreath. So first I'm going to start off with some craft paper and I'm marking it off at 8 inches wide and 6 inches tall to create a rectangle. And after that, I'm going to fold that in half and make sure that I have a nice sharp crease. And then I'm going to cut a curved line from one corner to the other. And once you unfold it, you'll get a nice triangle shape. Now I'm going to start folding the paper back and forth to create an accordion fold, making sure that I line it up against the straight edge every single time that I'm folding. And once it's all folded, you can pinch the bottom of it and this creates that faux palm leaf shape. Now I'm going to create a bunch of these in varying sizes. So I'm going to create some smaller ones and then some larger ones. And you can really make as many of these as you want. These might actually look familiar to you if you watch me recreate some of my favorite YouTuber projects. So shout out to my friend Katie Bookser for the inspo. After creating all of my palm leaves, I'm going to secure them by stapling them, but you can definitely just glue them or use any other adhesive to hold them together. For my base, I'm using a craft wreath, which is especially great for this project since it gives us a lot of room to work with. You can definitely paint this or wrap it with twine if you'd like, but I'm just going to leave it as is to tie in with the palm leaves. And before I glue anything down, I'm going to plan out where I want each one of my leaves to be. So first I'm placing down some of the larger ones, and then I'm going to add some of the smaller ones. And here you'll see that I'm going to create an asymmetrical look leaning towards the left side and then leaving the center blank so we could add in our flowers. For my florals, I'm using these mini bouquets, and I love the darker pink tones in this one. I think it will pair perfectly with these orange ones, and I also picked up a bunch of dried wheat in pink, and I just think these look so cute, so I'm excited to use them in my wreath. And again, I'm going to lay them out by putting some of the bigger focal flowers in first, and then adding in a few of the smaller accents. And when you're doing this, it's all about creating little groupings and making sure that it looks balanced. So once I like the layout, I took a picture of it and then I used that to reference so then I can glue them out exactly how I had planned it. With each piece that I'm gluing, I'm making sure that I hold it down and let it cool off before I move on to the next one. This project was actually inspired by a Michaels ad that I got on Instagram, and it was by Kara Winton of Kylo Chic, so I will link the original post down below. But for my project, I really wanted to create something that was a little bit more boho, and I'm really loving these colors together. So there really is no right or wrong way to create a wreath, and this project would honestly look so good in so many different color combos. As I got towards the end, I added in one more palm leaf than I had originally planned for, and I actually filled it out with a few more flowers. And here you can choose to add in greenery with some leaves, but I just opted to add in these small seeded bunches for a subtle touch of green. Now you can add some string to hang it up, or even use a small command hook to the back of it like I did here to display your beautiful new wreath. The natural brown tone of the craft paper with the dusty pinks and dark oranges is so perfect for fall. This is totally my vibe and fits in so well with the rest of my decor. I absolutely love how it came out, and I really hope that you guys try this project out at home. This last project uses a really fun technique that you can do with any design, and for my project I'm using a craft pumpkin which is just made out of foam, and for my design I'm doing constellations. So I'm first going in with a permanent marker to draw my constellations all around the pumpkin. I used a picture for reference and I tried to fill up the whole pumpkin with them. Then with my hot glue gun, I'm going to start tracing over the design with my glue. When doing this, I was going over it very slowly so that the glue comes out in an even stream. And I first traced out all of my lines, and then I went over where I wanted my stars to be with a small bead of glue. And you can see that I'm moving my glue gun in little tiny circles while pulling away, and that really helps retain the bead shape and kind of get rid of all those little webs. So I'm going to repeat this across the whole design, and then to fill up the negative space, I'm actually just going to dot some small beads of glue around the whole entire pumpkin, and this is just going to look like small stars in the sky. After all the glue is dry, it is time to paint, so I'm just using some white acrylic paint on a foam brush, and first you'll see that I'm kind of stippling it and brushing it on for the first layer, and that's just to get the color down. And when I was doing this, I was making sure that I was getting into all the little crevices so that nothing is left unpainted. So after the first coat was dry, I went in with another coat, but this time I'm just going to stipple it on across the whole thing, and I'm just going to dab with my foam brush, and this gives it a really cool texture to look. I would also suggest using spray paint for this portion if you're looking for a smoother look, but either way it's going to look awesome. After 3 coats of paint, the pumpkin is covered, and then I'm just going to paint the stem on top. You can really just choose whatever color you want here. After everything is dry, you can totally leave it as is for a more minimal look, but I wanted the constellations to stand out more, so I'm going to paint them with this gold paint marker, and I just chose this one because it was way more opaque than any of the other paints that I had in my stash, and it was super easy to work with. After painting everything in gold, my pumpkin is now complete, and I really love the contrast between the white and the gold on the stars, and I think this is a great project to try out, especially if you want a 3D look to your pumpkins. The technique was so easy to do, and I totally want to make another one of this for Halloween. Alright guys, those were all the projects for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this one is definitely my favorite projects. I just absolutely love the way that it came out. This is such a unique looking wreath and I love the colors in it. So if you recreate any of the projects in today's video, make sure that you tag me on Instagram so I see it and I repost it. I'm also going to put on the screen some of the most recent projects that people have been tagging me in, and I think they all look so amazing. And I'm definitely planning some more fall DIY projects. I definitely want to do something for Halloween and Thanksgiving. So if you guys have any suggestions of things that I should make for the fall time, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. I post content every single week. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!